Ding dong YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I'm the Jobless Coder, and as of now, the Prime Minister of Canada is set to present his budget in 2 hours from now. And the entire country is going to be left wondering where all the money's going, number one, and number two, how are we going to actually grow our economy? Because no one from any political party in Canada on either side, I'm blaming everyone here, liberals and conservatives, because I've tried giving conservative economic principles to connections and people that I have, and they're not listening to me either. So, if no one's going to listen to the ideas that I have, then I'm just going to make a series of videos here that outline exactly how Canada could possibly stave off bankruptcy, and I'll just keep producing content because it's the only idea that's actually going to work. Now, there's been some criticisms that I've had in the past before about, well, what makes you so bold that you would think that Disney would agree to this? It's because I do my research and I happen to understand a little bit about their history. I genuinely wonder, does Disney even understand their history? I'll tell you why I believe that Disney would agree to this idea of mine of building a Canadian Disneyland park here instead of a park out in the United Arab Emirates. It's because the founder of your company is a Canadian-born citizen, or was a Canadian-born citizen. You don't believe me? I'll prove it to you. This is what I meant when I said before that I'm using the power of AI to get my point across. Where was Walt Disney born? Oh, interesting. That is fantastic. Okay. Okay. Because I just found a news article somewhere along here previously that states otherwise. So, listen to this.
Why the story of Walt Disney sort of begins in Canada. Animation pioneer told CBC TV's Telescope about his Canadian roots in 1963. CBC Archives posted November 19, 2019, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Should Walt Disney count as an almost Canadian? His father was born in pre-Confederation Upper Canada, after all. Let's talk about your father, said Fletcher Markle, host of the CBC TV biography series Telescope, interviewing Disney for a program aired in two parts in the fall of 1963. He was born in Ontario and lived a good part of his life in Canada. Yes, he was born in a little town, they called it Bluevale, said Disney. And the Disney family were Anglo-Irish. Bluevale is about 50 kilometers east of the Lake Huron community of Goderich, ONT. Disney said his father had left Canada at the age of 20 to accompany his own father to a farm in Kansas, and that's where the Canadian roots ended. Disney said he'd been back, though. He told Markle he located the Disney's Ontario homestead on the advice of locals who told him where to find it, and photographed it from every angle. When I got through I found I'd photographed the wrong homestead, he said, with a laugh. Animation before Mickey Mouse. Disney talked about the origins of Walt Disney Studios and his earliest efforts at animation. I started to make my first animated cartoons in 1920, he said. We didn't draw them like we do today, we used to make little cutout things, and joints with pins, we'd put them under the camera and maneuver them and make them do things. This was before you came to Hollywood, said Markle. Disney said at the time he'd been working in Kansas City, Missouri, making advertising signs for movie theaters. It wasn't until 1928's Steamboat Willie that Disney's best-known character, Mickey Mouse, made his debut. In the days of Steamboat Willie it was picture first, said Disney, going into detail about the process of mixing sound and image before overdubbing was possible. We used to have to do everything at one time. We used to have to run the cartoon, we'd have the fellas with the sound effects, the people with the voices, we had the orchestra going and everybody had to synchronize. More Disney magic. By 1963 Disney had branched out into live-action films, and the studio's forthcoming effort was The Incredible Journey. It's a tale of two dogs and a cat making their way home through the Canadian wilderness. Markle himself directed the movie, some of which was filmed in Ontario, according to the Globe and Mail. Besides making movies using animation and live action, Disney had opened his California theme park just 8 years earlier. And at Disneyland, visitors would encounter more Disney magic in the form of animatronics. "This is one of the characters from the Tiki Room," he said, indicating a tropical bird on his desk. "We have 4 macaws, master of ceremonies," Disney went on. "They keep the show rolling. Along with them are other birds that sing, flowers that sing." He manipulated a joystick on his desk to demonstrate, making the bird move in a convincing, lifelike way. According to Reuters, in December the original birds from Disneyland's Enchanted Tiki Room attraction are among a block of the theme park's memorabilia going up for auction. They are expected to fetch between $80,000 and $100,000.
So, there you have it. We're now living in a world where you can't prove or disprove anything. It's a broken reality, because I just went to ChatGPT and asked, where was Walt Disney born? It says he was born in Chicago, Illinois, USA. I don't know where ChatGPT is getting this information, but I found a CBC News article, a 3-minute news article, that claims that he was born in Canada, and that his father was born in Upper Canada before Confederation, and that he was born 50 kilometers to the east of Lake Huron. So, does anyone actually know where this man was born? I genuinely don't know. Okay, that's weird, but that doesn't discredit the point I'm trying to make. Does anyone understand anything at all about the history of how Walt Disney World came to be? The experimental prototype Community of Tomorrow, shortened to EPCOT, was an unfinished concept for a planned community intended to sit on a swath of undeveloped land near Florida. It was created by the company in cooperation with the designers as the WE Enterprises, which would later became the engineering. Based on ideas stemming from modernism and futurism, and inspired by architectural literature about city planning, they intended EPCOT to be a utopian, autocratic company town, although he struggled to somehow include residents in the community governance. So the map that I had previously drawn out, this is engineering blueprints for an actual EPCOT city, the experimental prototype city of tomorrow, built with Alberta infrastructure, because all you have to do is connect direct lines of transit between all the different locations in the area, and you can service the entire province at once. Now, why is that important to me? Because, as I had previously outlined in some of my previous videos, so I'll undo here, I can get my tools back. I mentioned that this paint program that I had put together is a visual demonstration tool that I can use to more or less demonstrate my point. So we're going to get, okay, I'm having problems with the quality of the stream because, surprise, I can't afford decent technology. Our country is bankrupt, and there's no job or economic opportunities. So I'm trying to show you the map, but I had shown you previously. The point of connecting all of the different communities in Alberta is that all of the different industries are located in places that are spread throughout. For instance, if you want to work in technology, such as I do, then you need to move to either Calgary or Edmonton, because there's no opportunities for technology in Lethbridge. The problem with that is that all of the friends that I have that I went to school, as well as the school that I went to, is in Lethbridge. And so if you want to alleviate the economic strife that the province and the country is facing, then you need to allow economic opportunity between the citizens that live here. And that's why I think the plan that I have developed could possibly work if Canadians got behind it. Yes?
I want to see you getting back to what you were working on.
Making a game, yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You've got a deadline or a time frame that it needs to get done in,
So if I make my game and I sell it and I get to keep 37% of the value of the game, then what does that mean?
Then you're at least getting something coming in. I am not going
It
to keep
means
handing you money hand over fist.
it means that someone else is making 74% or 64% of the value of what I'm creating.
You can figure all of that out. I don't know. All I know is that you started off on doing something that is phenomenal.
It is phenomenal. But there's no
And I
point.
want to see
There's
it.
no point in selling my video games in a country that's bankrupt.
You still have to have a source of income coming in. Get it out there. Because right now, we're just handing you money.
Yeah.
Dad just had me send you another $100.
I know. And the entire country is going to go bankrupt because our politicians are not doing their job.
Let them figure that out. In the meantime, you need to have a source of income so that you can start covering some of your expenses.
Yes, okay.
You have promised another person that you're going to do a game for him.
And I plan and intend to do that, but I can't do my job if our politicians are not doing theirs.
Well, you let them figure it out. In the meantime, you have to keep doing what
I
you're
have
doing.
a
You know what?
solution.
Dad has to keep
I have a
going to work,
solution.
whether the politicians are screwing the country or not.
I have a solution, but Canadians don't want to listen to it.
Well, then work on the thing that you know you can do for sure.
I know I can do this because it's an idea that would work. But Canadians need to get behind it. And the problem is, that's the problem that we're facing up here in Canada, is that our country is going bankrupt, and the number one thing most Canadians keep trying to figure out is where our employment is going to come from. We can't get jobs here because there's no incentive for jobs to be here. This map that I've drawn out is the experimental prototype city of tomorrow that would attract business opportunity to the country.
It's fine, but that is just a hype, a possibility. This game is a real thing.
Yes, it is.
And it needs to be finished so it can get on the market.
So then, again, I go back to the point that I had made before. If I'm only going to keep 30% of the value, but I'm putting in 100% of the work, something needs to change, or this math doesn't make sense.
Well, I don't know how you come up with that math, and I don't want to listen to that right now. I have other things I need to do.
Okay, me too.
But I want to see that game finished, because I have faith in that game going somewhere.
I do
but
too.
It needs to get finished to do that.
Yes, the game needs to get finished. It also needs to have an economic opportunity where I get to make money on the game and the effort that I've put into the game. Otherwise, it makes no
That's
sense.
going to happen if you don't actually get it out there.
Yeah, okay. And I agree. I understand your point. The game needs to be done. But if the game's not going to produce economic value to me, why am I making it in the first place?
Because it gets a thing done.
It gets a thing done.
Stop starting things and giving up 3/4 of the way through.
Giving up 3/4 of the way through. Okay, alright. Back to the point that I was trying to make. So I live here in this very tiny where did that circle go? Oh, right, it's on. There we go. So if this is where I live here, in this hamlet, but all of the economic opportunities are here, and there's an hour-long commute to get from here to here, that means I now have to commute 2 hours every day into the city if I were to have a job in the city. Alternatively, I could go up here, but that's another hour drive away. So if there's no economic opportunity to be here, and there's no economic opportunity to be down here, then where do you live to get economic opportunity? There is nowhere. So The experimental prototype city of tomorrow is going to connect citizens here in Alberta with everything that we have built up for infrastructure. Because if Callaway Park exists here, that means that citizens up in Edmonton can't easily access it, and it's only getting revenue from citizens in Calgary. If the Disneyland Park was built an hour south of Calgary, that would attract more attention to the entire area. All of this would get developed underground with the help of the Boring Company. But, as we've just seen and demonstrated, it's exceptionally hard to get Canadians to understand math, because when I try to outline math using technology and using techniques like this, it goes over people's heads, and they don't understand the opportunity that I'm seeing. This blueprint, this diagram, that Canada should be submitting to Elon Musk in terms of the blueprints for the experimental prototype city. This prototype city is a prototype city that Walt Disney himself could only have possibly dreamed of. Does anyone understand the history of this company and how it got started? Everything about Walt Disney World is about transportation. They have the people mover. They have the gondola system to connect different areas of the park. They have ferries and canals. It's all about transportation and technology. And this is a new form of transportation that Canada is proposing that we construct right here in the province of Alberta. It would secure the trade deals and relations with the US, and it would also bolster the entire economy and everyone's ability to earn and make an income. Because right now the problem we're facing, if I go back down to where I live, so I live here. There is one gym in the town, and that one gym is servicing the entire town. Why is that an issue? Why is that an issue that there is one gym where I live? Who wants to play Monopoly? There are like antitrust laws and laws against monopolies in America, but where I live, there is a monopoly on the fitness industry because there is one singular gym located right here. And I got screwed by that gym because I took a job moving out here to work at a ski resort, and by doing that, they charged me a $200 fine for the penalty of canceling my gym membership because I moved out here. But then 3 weeks later, the infrastructure that allowed me to live here was destroyed, so I got displaced and I ended up over down here at Sunshine Village. And then I got fired there and ended up back here. So what does that mean? It means that I haven't been to the gym to work out in over a year. So if Daniel Smith wants to fix the Alberta Health Services, maybe they need to be building gyms, because that's infrastructure and support. Why should I have to suffer because I live here and it's impossible to get to the gyms that are here because it's a long drive into Calgary and it also wastes fuel? If the Conservatives were to implement a policy of economics that gave the Liberals something that they wanted, it would actually get voted on and supported. Why? Because it's going to reduce the travel time and the amount of fuel that has to get burned. It would allow the country to actually meet its climate goals. It would allow Canada to actually grow. Right now, we're going to be going into an election cycle where the majority of Canadians are going to be voting on the same people who have the same ideas, and the same ideas aren't working. And it's impossible to get new ideas across to people because it leads to arguments and fights like the one that you just witnessed here on stream. So I can't seem to sit here and get my point across because my mother is frantically going about in the background thinking that this is all crazy talk. But the problem is, this is the only economic budget that anyone is going to present to you at all in this country that makes economic sense. And as I outlined before, why would Disney do it? Because they would benefit with a ski resort, something that they have tried twice to achieve, something they have tried twice to attain, and they have never been able to pull it off. But engineering wise, we can realistically achieve that using Elon Musk's technology. So that's part 4 of the video that explains why the Walt Disney Company would want to work with Canada in the first place. And I think that is Canada's value proposition to America. So I intend to continue these videos, but I'm going to be finding out some more information tonight from a contact that I have about political parties, because if there's going to be an election, I might as well run with these ideas and give Canadians door number 3, because right now there's only door number, it doesn't work.